All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to do something really cool. We are going to follow a single tweet on its incredible journey through what is, no joke, one of the most complex systems ever built.
So let's start with a number that's kind of hard to wrap your head around. 500 million. That's how many tweets are sent every single day. We're not just talking about a lot of text here. It's a constant, global conversation, a real fire hose of information on a scale that is just mind-boggling.
So, have you ever wondered how your thought, your little tweet, can reach the entire globe in like an instant? Well, to figure that out, we're going to follow the life of just one tweet right from the second you hit that post button. We'll trace it through this amazing maze of custom software. Okay, you ready? Let's dive in.
So, here we go. The first section, the tweet is born. And I mean, this happens fast. We're talking milliseconds. Before your tweet can even think about traveling the world, it needs an identity. Think of it like a unique, unchangeable digital fingerprint. It has to be one of a kind to stand out from the billions of others.
So how do you do that? Well, X came up with this brilliant solution called Snowflake. It's the super clever, decentralized way to create unique IDs. And that decentralized part is key, right? Because you've got thousands of servers all handling tweets at the same time. A single central ID giver? No way. It would just bottleneck and crash. But the real genius of Snowflake is that the IDs it creates are also instantly sortable by time. That's a game changer.
Okay, so let's break down what's inside this Snowflake ID. It's wild how much information they pack into this one little number. See that biggest chunk? That's the timestamp. That means every tweet is automatically in chronological order, right out of the gate. Then you've got the machine ID, which makes your two different servers never ever create the same ID at the same time. And that little sequence number at the end? Get this, it lets a single machine handle over 4,000 tweets in 1 millisecond. I mean, that's efficiency on a whole other level.
All right, so our tweet now has its unique ID. It's official. It's born. Now it gets packaged up and handed off to the absolute heart of the platform, a core service they call TweetyPie. You gotta love that name. Just think of TweetyPie as the main dispatch center, the air traffic controller that's getting our tweet all prepped and ready for its trip around the world. Okay, so our tweet is ready to go. Now for the next massive challenge, the billion-user delivery route. How do you get that one tweet from TweetyPie onto the timelines of, I don't know, maybe millions of followers, and do it all in under 5 seconds? This is where it gets really interesting.
And this right here, this is probably the single biggest headache for X's engineers. It's what's known as the fan-out problem. Internally, they used to call it the Justin Bieber problem. Think about it. If a celebrity with, say, 100 million followers sends one tweet, how on earth do you update 100 million different timelines at the same time without the whole system just, melting down? It's a huge, huge problem.
So to solve this massive problem, they basically came up with two different game plans. You've got the push model and the pull model. With push, the tweet gets preloaded into your followers' timelines right away. With pull, your followers have to sort of fetch the tweet when they log in. As you can see, each one has a big upside and a big downside. So for like 99% of us, you and me, the system uses the push model. The second you tweet, a service goes out, finds all of your followers, and just drops that new tweet ID right into their timelines. Their timelines are basically pre-computed. That's why your feed feels so snappy and instant when you open the app. It was already built and waiting for you.
But try to do that for a macro influencer with millions of followers? It would be a total disaster. A right storm that would crash everything. So, the system does the complete opposite. The celebrity tweets, and the tweet just gets saved. Then, when you open your app, the system does two things at once. It pulls your normal timeline, and it separately pulls that celebrity's recent tweets, and then it merges them together for you right on the spot.
So here's the really brilliant part. X doesn't just pick one method. It uses a hybrid model. It looks at who's tweeting and dynamically decides whether to push or pull based on how many followers they have. And honestly, this is one of the biggest lessons of their entire architecture. It's not just smart engineering, it's economic genius. It's what keeps the platform both blazing fast and actually affordable to run.
All right, so our tweet has been delivered. Success! But in a world of 500 million tweets a day, just getting it delivered isn't enough, right? How does it get discovered? How does it end up in someone's For You feed? Well, that brings us to our next section, curating your reality. This is where the algorithm takes over.
Think of it like a giant funnel, designed to sift through millions of tweets to find the absolute best ones for you. It starts by grabbing about 1,500 candidate tweets.
Then, a quick and dirty model called the light ranker zips through and filters out all the obvious spam and junk. And finally, the few hundred that are left get passed on to the heavy ranker, and that's where the real intensive work begins.
So where do those first 1,500 candidates even come from? Well, this chart breaks it down perfectly. About half are in-network, which is what you'd expect, tweets from people you actually follow. But the other half is out of network, and this is where things get really cool. These are tweets that are discovered by looking at what people like you are engaging with. It's a huge shift, you know? It's not just about who you follow anymore. It's a true discovery engine.
And that final step, that heavy ranker we mentioned, that's where the real AI magic is. We're talking about a massive neural network with something like 48 million parameters. Its entire job is to look at a tweet and predict one thing. What are the odds that you will engage with it? It calculates the probability you'll like it, reply to it, or share it, and then uses that score to build the final timeline that you see.
Okay, let's be real. You can't run a system this big and this custom using off-the-shelf software. It's just not possible. When you're dealing with problems that basically no one else in the world has, you hit a point where you have to stop buying tools and start building your own. And that leads us to X's custom toolbox.
Yeah, this quote really nails it. For hyperscale companies, the buy versus build equation flips. What that means is, when you get to X's size, trying to force a generic tool to do what you want becomes more expensive and more of a headache than just building the perfect tool for the job yourself from scratch.
And this build-it-yourself philosophy led to this whole suite of legendary in-house tools. You've got Manhattan, which is their beast of a database. It's the digital vault for every tweet and DM. Heron is the engine that's constantly scanning for real-time trends. You know how you can search for a tweet literally seconds after it's posted? You can thank Earlybird for that. And FlockDB? It's a super specialized database with one job, managing that crazy tangled web of who follows whom. I mean, each one of these is an engineering marvel, purpose-built for X's unique needs.
So, we followed our little tweet on its crazy journey around the world. What are the big lessons here? What can we take away from looking at this incredible architecture?
For me, it really boils down to three big things. First, specialization at scale. When you're huge, custom tools are a necessity, not a luxury. Second, the economics of that fan-out system. That hybrid push/pull model isn't just clever, it's financially brilliant. And third, the shift from a social graph to an interest graph. The algorithm is moving beyond just who you follow to what it thinks you're interested in. It's a fundamental change from a social network to an AI-driven interest network.
And all of this leaves us with one final big question. This incredibly complex custom-built system is the only reason X can operate at this insane global scale. But does that same complexity, all that custom code, become a heavy anchor that makes it hard to change and evolve in the future? Is this powerful architecture its greatest asset or its heaviest weight? It's something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.